Hello and welcome back to Mac at the Movies. Today I'm going on a little adventure. The new Jurassic World comes out today. I'm going to pick up my best friend Chasers and we are going to go see it. And I'm going to take you along the way. Not all the way, but some of the way. And then at the end of all this, do a little review for you. So we're going to go do that and I'm going to drive. So hands on 10 and 2. I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. All right, everybody, and I am back. Got Chasers, and we are at the theater. We're gonna come over here and do our obligatory in front of the
Christmas came early.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
We're gonna get in here, and then after the movie, don't know what's planned. And but there is a review, like I said, so stick around and you'll see it. Bye. And we're back. So we made it back from the theater where we had seen
Jurassic World Dominion,
the third film of the new trilogy, and good movie. But we're gonna get into this and we'll talk about it some and then let you know what we thought about it. So, released today, June 10th, 2022 by Amblin Entertainment as well as Perfect World Pictures. This film was directed by Colin Trevorrow, who had also directed the first Jurassic World film as well as the Book of Henry. And of his films, and I didn't realize he had directed this one, and I thoroughly enjoyed this film and need to go back and rewatch it. Safety Not Guaranteed, starring Aubrey Plaza.
Ooh,
so
very nice.
She's in it as well as a few other people, but actors.
Yeah, cast-wise, we brought back some old friendly faces. We got Sam Neill as Alan Grant, Laura Dern as Ellie Sadler, Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm, Bryce Dallas Howard as Claire Denning, Chris Pratt as Owen Grady, DeWanda Wise as Kayla Watts, and Isabella Sermon as Macy Lockwood.
So yeah, really opening in this movie, a lot of the scenery I really enjoyed.
So
in this
cool.
Film. Very beautiful.
Wait, spoilers.
Yeah.
A lot of spoilers.
We're going to spoil the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautiful scenery. I mean, like the Dilophosaurs or whatever they were. You have Chris Pratt, you know.
He's on horseback, like herding these
dinosaurs.
Yeah, these calves.
And what I thought was it looked like to me like it should have been from like a Marlboro commercial.
Yeah, and
it was weird.
The very first scene I thought was awesome. I mean, we both equally got a kick out of it. So it kind of starts with like this news sequence, and they're kind of doing this featurette on how humans are now used to living with dinosaurs on Earth, and you know, it was a really cool opening.
Yeah, and I like that the idea of like humans and dinosaurs commingling in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
That they're just like any other creature, like a stray dog or a bird. So,
can we talk about the cutest thing in the whole movie? The cutest. The
baby dinosaurs.
Oh man, they're just adorable. I just want to give them
wanted to hug every single one of them. I will say though, even though I wanted to hug this one as well, there was like a baby Triceratops that the mother was playing with in the video.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me, if anyone else out there has seen it, it kind of reminded me of, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He played Commissioner Gordon in the Batman trilogy, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. He was Sid Vicious and Sid and Nancy. He was in Harry Potter as Harry's uncle. I don't know why I can't remember his name now. What's his name?
Gary Oldman.
Don't know why, but this one creature looked like Gary Oldman from Hannibal, you know, when he had his face all eaten up. Kind of reminded me of him a little bit, but I digress. Cute as can be.
Wonderful.
Wonderful
little just...
Even the most like the baby raptor in this film, Beta, I feel would have eaten my face off, but I just want to give it a hug anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, Blue had a baby, everyone.
Blue has a baby.
She's a mama now, and she doesn't have any time for any nonsense.
No, she did it herself too.
But
yeah.
anyways, further digression. Cute animals, dinosaurs, not. But yeah, absolutely wonderful, beautiful scenery, and essentially in this world, we find that there's a market for dinosaurs. So there's this like underground black market. Poachers go out and they
poach. They steal the dinosaurs and then they sell it in this real seedy underground where they're having the equivalent of dog fights.
And they have
with dinosaurs.
Like illegal breeder operations. So it's
So there's like 2 or 3 different facets. There's like the good guys. The federal government, universally, the UN is trying to capture all these dinosaurs and put them into a safe space. A national park where they're gated off. And then there's the other half where there's just the bad guys, the poachers.
It's when you're introduced to that whole part of the film, it's kind of heartbreaking in a way because, things like this happen in real life, but you see them with the dinosaurs, and while they're not real, this film really makes you think that they're real and not fun. But yeah, we had that. We get the introduction to Grant and Sattler, which to me felt a little forced.
I'm taking the low road. There was no reason for those 2 people to be in this film beyond ticket sales. Period.
I mean, both their roles, again, I felt like they were forced. Sattler seemed a little bit more natural, but at the same time, it still felt forced. But both of them could have been played by unknown actors or just other actors that come in and I'm like, I'm an archaeologist and I'm the person that checks out environmental stuff.
Their purpose in this movie, on my notes, I said that literally Dr. Malcolm or a guy named Ramsey Cole, who are kind of the good guys of the bad guys, they literally could have done the only item that Grant and Sattler did, which was take some DNA from a locust.
That was all that. Like, that was their general purpose in this film, was to find DNA to track back to this company. I can't remember the name. What was the name of the company? Bad guys.
They have Jeeps. The Jeeps are back, everybody, and I love that.
That was pretty much, they're just tying them back to that company. So basically these like prehistoric size like locusts are basically ravaging fields, except for this, like, some crops they're not touching. And you find out that the seeds for those crops came from the company.
It's basically, it's kind of this major political overtone, about a giant seed and pharmaceutical company that's found a way to monopolize the entire market by creating these locusts that eat all of the produce except their genetically engineered seeds.
So it's, you have that, and I'm not entirely sure the purpose of the dinosaurs or anything like that, unless they were just trying to get their DNA to create like these locusts that can just destroy fields in the matter of moments, and then take out the competition, which seems, I don't know, it seemed too simple of a storyline. Like, I feel like, I mean, granted, they're openly motivated to use these dinosaurs to modify their genes in ways that would cure
cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's. That's the front. The good guy front.
But there's a lot more to it than that. So.
Also, CEO Tim Cook from Apple is running that company. I hope, put up on the screen a picture of the main antagonist and Tim Cook. It has to be intentional. There's no way around it.
There was, like you said, no way around that intention. It was spot on. Like, when I was watching the movie, I didn't know who Apple's CEO was ever since Steve Jobs. So, but he had mentioned it, and I was like, I was sitting there looking, and I was just like, it looks like a big tech company CEO trying to run this world of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So,
You were saying that as a bad guy, you know, he's not the greatest.
yeah, he seems very unprepared. Anytime something happens, he seems like he's just several steps behind what he should be, and like everything is a surprise to him. And you know, in the end, he gets exactly what he has coming to him, as I feel all the bad guys get in this movie, except for one.
Which one?
That blonde-headed Asian woman.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'm assuming she has a name in this film, but I like she should have been shot, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Dilophosaurus is back in this one, and that was really exciting to me because we remember, you know, in the very first film, you know, the Jeep crashes and he's got his little Barbasol can. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, so that was really cool to see them back. That's how Tim Cook meets his. I'm sorry, not Tim Cook, but the lookalike meets his end in this movie. I want to say, as far as top actor in the movie, absolutely, hands down, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he's the only one that showed up to act. Yeah. You know, everyone else was just, man, we're going to trash this movie a little bit, but we are both diehard fans. Like, I've got multiple stickers. I'm wearing the shirt. This movie, man, it's got a lot of issues. There's a lot of continuity issues, you know, that I noticed. Within the first few minutes of the film, it's like Claire's down in West Texas trying to help illegal breeding, and you know, Owen he's like in Nebraska herding these dinosaurs with cattle, and then at the end of the day, they're both like in their cabin in Idaho or something. You know, like it's just there's too many time jumps that aren't clearly explained. It's like at daybreak they're across the country, and at nighttime they're back. There's a scene where you know, they're in a Jeep, and the Jeep wrecks, and they're rolling down the hill, and the lights cut off on the Jeep like it died. And then they cut to the next scene where they're all in front of the Jeep going, well, what do we do? There's dinosaurs. And all the lights are back on the Jeep. You know, I mean, just tons of stuff like that is just so easy to fix, you know?
And one of my biggest gripes in the film is, like, going back to the bad guys, the poachers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, first off, the poachers, in my opinion, seemed like a couple of, like, backwood rednecks at first. Mm-hmm. But they're like some like weird international dino poachers. Yeah. And not only are they poaching dinosaurs in this film, they're poaching a 14-year-old child.
Yeah, the clone from the second Jurassic World. Yeah. That we found out about.
So you have all that, but what I like the most about that is that poacher and the blonde-headed Asian woman hated both of them equally.
Yeah.
And the poacher meets his demise in a way that just seemed right.
Yeah, there's like this, I don't know how to describe what this creature is. It looks like a little turtle about yay big, but without a shell.
Yeah.
And it's on one side of him, and then there's another dinosaur on his other side, and they're both eating his arms. And then like an Allosaurus comes in and chomps his head, and that's in the dino fighting ring, you know, in the underground station.
Like they basically have this like little dino fighting ring. Yeah. It's almost like chicken fighting, but velociraptors. And he gets in there, like one of the velociraptors like grabs his hand or something like that. The weird
little derpy
it was
turtle like beak thing.
It was like a weird turtle piglet creature. Grabbed his other arm. And then this, what was it?
I think it was an Allosaurus
came up and like bit his head, and I was like, good, because that like I'm not a fan of bad guys in film, as I think most people.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be.
But you know, I like it when you see the bad guy really bite the dust. But that lady, the female character,
laser beams on their forehead.
They had laser guided velociraptors.
Yeah, hybrids, raptor hybrids. Now, come on now.
But I mean, still, they had which made no sense to me, because it was basically like you point the laser, so anyone with a laser pointer can just trigger these creatures.
She was like head of the poachers.
Yeah.
That worked for Tim Cook lookalike, collecting these things for him. And she would like push, she had like a bracelet and she would literally do this, pull out a laser and go dink. And then whoever the laser hit, these raptors are targeted on.
Yeah.
But the chase scenes were cool because like raptors were the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I will say it threw me off. Like in any action movie, you're going to have these chase scenes. Mm-hmm. And in this one, like Chase said, the raptors were the bad guys. It almost felt like a scene that was pulled straight out of. It's almost like they had a bunch of writing from like 007 Quantum of Solace that didn't get used because of the writer's strike and
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. But like this particular scene, it very much seemed like it was pulled right out of like a 007 film, and it just seemed out of place for me anyway. But and then like Chase said, we had talked earlier about. It looked like there were a couple of nods to Indiana Jones, primarily with Grant and his hat.
His stupid hat.
You get in this underground caves, like amber mine situation.
Yep.
And, they have they used, it was like bolt cutters or something like that. They had wrapped some kerosene cloth on.
First of all, continuity. He takes his bandana off. He wraps it around these garden shears and lights it, and it's just a torch for 3 hours. It's just. But I was talking about storyline and how some of this doesn't line up. Like, if Dr. Malcolm and this Ramsey Cole character had literally talked to Dr. Wu, who by the way is a good guy now. Yeah. He shifted gears. If they had spoken to him, this movie could have been 23 minutes long.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, the movie would have been done a lot quicker.
If those three people had gotten on the same, because Cole and Malcolm were already on the same page. If they had just talked to Dr. Wu, this would have been a 23-minute movie. CGI in this movie was really, really disappointing to me. And the reason it's disappointing is because the 1993 OG Jurassic Park, those dinosaurs look better than the dinosaurs of today. And I understand they used a lot of modeling and, they built props, instead of a lot of CGI, but like,
things like that.
With a budget, a movie the size of this budget, put some resources, put some resources into your CGI. And an example for that is The Mandalorian, how they film theirs. Mostly they use Unreal Engine, which just started as a video game company. So there's no green or blue screen the way I understand. It's this giant. It's literally a screen. It's like a computer screen, and it's such high resolution that the actors just stand in front of it, act out whatever their scene is, and everything behind them is dynamic and moving, like live. Okay. And the reason they did it that way, The Mandalorian, and it looks good, and the reason they did it was because of time demands. It was easier to do it that way than to go into post with all the CGI stuff with the green screen. Universal is a huge company with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Put some resources and time into your CGI, because this is going to be, I would venture, every time they release a dinosaur movie, it's probably their highest grossing, especially post-COVID. Put some time and money into it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it, like, we were going to see the 10:30 showing, and it was sold out
full.
With the exception of, like, 2 seats up front. Yep. And then we went to the 11:30 showing.
This is AM.
Or
AM,
11,
by the way. Yeah.
Was it 11 or 11:30? 11?
11.
And, it ended up selling out, but when I went to get my tickets, it was like a handful of seats left over. So, I mean, this one's drawing in people, especially like daytime on a weekday.
11 a.m. So there was another issue I had was with the sound in it. So I know everyone universally has seen The Dark Knight Rises, I'm sure. So there's a scene towards the beginning where half a plane is missing, and you can hear Bane talking to you can hear him talking through his mask clear as day. Got to be tons of wind noise, right? In this movie, they're down in the amber mines that you referenced earlier, And there's literally like Spinosauruses roaring and trying to kill these 3 people. And you hear Dr. Malcolm on the outside of the gate just calm. Well, let's just stay calm and we're going to figure out this. You could hear it clear as day. And I feel like a lot of the art of these Jurassic Park movies, Jurassic World movies, they kind of like lost their flair compared to the 93. In 93, if a dinosaur was roaring, that's all you heard.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't try to overshadow with dialogue and frankly bad acting in this movie. So, you know, it seems like everyone goes to the dinosaur movies to see dinosaurs, but this movie, it's almost like they tried to transition it to, well, what is Claire up to now?
Yeah.
Well, what is Dr. Malcolm up to now? We don't care about that. We want the same story we've seen 5 or 6 times. They created a bigger monster. Monster gets out. Protagonist saves the day, teaches a young kid or 2, you know, how to be a better human, and then they go home and fight another day. And then there's a sequel. You know, this one, it was like, I know you kind of dug the storyline more than me, but it was just like, man, they could have just stuck with the OG, you know, just the regular storyline we've seen, and it would have been great.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, every now and again, I think a good hiccup in the storyline's a good thing, you know, changing up a little bit, but for the most part, you kind of know what you're getting into, and it just seemed like so much about this could have been prevented, and I think, I don't know, this world's going to hell in a handbasket, so maybe things like this couldn't be prevented if it happened now.
Maybe they were making political statements, but I don't know, because it didn't seem like people were upset about gas prices in the movie, right?
Yeah.
But this is kind of the equivalent. I mentioned Dark Knight. This is to me, what they did with this story is kind of the equivalent of, we're going to watch Bruce Wayne go to his local grocery store and shop for 25 minutes. Yeah. It's kind of like, what are we doing? Let's get back. Let's just, you know, stay on course here. This movie was 2.5 hours long. You know, it was a long movie, and again, storyline wise, it could have been 23 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like, they could have dove into the black market dinosaur scene and made it go from there.
Yeah, they could have done a lot more with that. But
they introduced 3 or 4 different sidelines, and they never really meshed back well together. There was no closure through a lot of the various storylines in this movie. And, you know, I hate to say it, because again, huge fan. You know, I gotta, you know, there's Rexy right there. But I wanted to love it. I just wanted to love it.
I mean, I really enjoyed it myself. I know it's one I'm going to go back and rewatch. That being said, I haven't even rewatched the second Jurassic World movie. Of the Jurassic World movies, I feel, in my opinion, this is the better one. I liked it more. I didn't really dig the first Jurassic World. It just seemed like they were retelling the same story as the first one, but without as much character development. The second one, for me, toss up. I didn't care too much. And this one seemed to have taken both of those and sort of wedged it into one, but had this whole like backstory of underground dino trading and this black market, and then this weird, like, I don't know what it was.
There's an acting crutch too in this movie that I had pointed out, and you noticed also. So Owen Grady is famous throughout these films for training the raptors, right?
Yeah.
And his big thing in the first couple movies is like, when he's facing a raptor, he's like, whoa, 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 eyes on me. And that's how he hones them in, simmers them down. In this movie, anytime he was faced with any dinosaur, he's literally standing like this. And it's just like, it only works with the one. You only got one raptor left. You got Blue. That's all you got. Like,
and it doesn't really work on Blue.
Yeah, it doesn't really work because she's a mom now, guys. She is a mom. She's got stuff to do.
So, like, I don't know. Like, it seemed like they did that for every single dinosaur. And then there was the scene with the little girl and Beta.
That was my favorite. So Beta is what the little girl. The little girl is the clone. She's the 14-year-old clone of the previous worker for Engine.
Macy
Lockwood. So she's the clone of the original Lockwood. She named Blue's baby Beta. Fair enough. They reused a name. I hate the idea, but you know, it is a kid. Okay, whatever. So there was a scene, and it was honestly my favorite scene in the movie. So Grant, Owen, and Macy they're in the catacombs. They're trying to get the little baby back to Blue. They're trying to capture the baby raptor, take it back to Blue as they're escaping. And the little baby comes up and it's being aggressive, and all of a sudden Macy she pops out. She's like, "Eyes on me," you know. And it was cool to see. It was cool to see the next generation take that trait, you know, because clearly Beta has bonded with Macy. You know, like they're good.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Grady and Blue in the first Jurassic World. You know, where they actually paid attention to each other. So that was pretty cool.
I wasn't a fan when like Grant did it. It's like he got in to do it. It's like
they just made Grant do it. He didn't need to be in that scene at all.
I was just like, is he trying to like? To me, it was like he was trying to play the Force.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars.
Like, it was kind of awkward. But yeah,
and the other thing too, like just in that scene, like where the writing was just bad. Like, so she's like, "Eyes on me," and you know, so the baby's honed in on the little girl. She's center stage. You got Grady on the one side. You got Grant on the other. Grady's a Navy guy, and he's got the tranquilizer, and he wants to shoot the baby in the neck, get it out of there safely. And he just looks at Grant, and he goes, "Triangulate." Grant's not a military. He's an archaeologist. I wouldn't even know what that means. Like, if someone just looks at me and says, "Triangulate," I'm like, Pythagorean? I don't know. What do you want me to do? You know, so I don't know. I wanted to love it, guys. I'm sorry.
There was also that scene when they were trying to escape the compound, and all the dinosaurs are inside the compound.
And that is so
the pilot comes to like land. Like, they knew not to land that there. But
they literally said, "Don't land it here." And she's like, "Okay, got it." Lands it there. And we had talked about this. As big as this compound is, you know they had a helicopter pad.
Yeah.
They could have literally just moved the helicopter probably, you know, 1/8 of a mile here, and there would have been no danger. Rexy makes it out again.
Oh yeah,
she is a trooper and a half.
And you see at the end, there's more than one T-Rex now. So
yeah, well, I think that was a different animal. They called it. Yeah, the one Rexy's fighting was a different.
No, not that one.
Oh, there was a second one. Oh,
there were 3 of them. 3. Math. But there were 3 T-Rex that you see at the end of the film. So, you know, I guess.
With the sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, that was further into the future, I'm sure. But, like, where they were talking about how that compound is now basically shut down.
Yeah, the UN shut it
like
down.
A protective, like, preserve type deal. Like a dino preserve. But, yeah, all in all, I like this movie. Of the new trilogy, and granted, I need to go back and rewatch the first 2 now that I've seen this one. Really put it all into perspective, but in my opinion, this was my favorite one of the new trilogy. I liked it. But taking everything into consideration, I have to give it 3 stars out of 5. So 3.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, you know, and it sounds like we're trashing it. You guys don't know me personally. I love every one of these movies. You know, I do. I love it. So for me, it is a 3-star. I'll probably watch it at least 8 dozen more times throughout my life. I was just saying, I'm pointing out, I'm trying to be a man of integrity. There were problems with it.
Yeah.
It was not the 1993 Jurassic Park. It was not a perfect movie. It just wasn't, you know, so that's all right.
And you know, I think it goes back to, you know, like you said, the 93 Jurassic Park, you're not going to touch that one.
You're not going to outdirect that guy.
No, I mean, just that whole everything about that film, you're not going to outdo it. It just seems to me like with everything else, and you buy laundry detergent now, you're spending more, but you're just getting concentrated detergent, and you're getting less and all this other stuff. And I feel like that's what you get with these movies. It's like they're trying to find a way to, you know, spend less and make more. I mean, granted, they're spending a lot of money, But like they're trying to, I don't know, maybe with the CGI in some aspects, it seems like they're cutting corners where they shouldn't.
Well, probably what they did, I don't know who they is. I'm just saying they. They probably had a few divas on set that didn't want to be there, had to renegotiate pay 8 times, and then the CGI, the wonderful people that do CGI probably had a month, to do all the work, where they probably shot the movie for a year and a half,
That in the original film, they had a life-size T-Rex made that, granted, fell apart all the time, and it was...
because the rain,
So, they're not going to build a life-size T-Rex every time they have one of these movies, let alone, I guess they could keep the skeleton structure because it was like a stop-motion type T-Rex.
And some of it was
some of it was animated.
Yeah.
But, they could have the skeleton, just preserve that over there. They're going to keep making movies. I don't know if that's going to stop this one at Jurassic World and the next one's going to be like Jurassic Universe or something like that.
What I expected to happen, and I'm kind of happy that it didn't, because I do like the way it ended with the humans and dinosaurs are, living again. I expected, somehow all the dinosaurs to be wiped out, including our sweet, sweet Rexy. And, and then 3 or 4 eggs hatch at the end.
Yeah.
Or, setting it up for a sequel. But I don't think they set this one up for a sequel unless it's going to turn into, I wonder what the archaeologist is up to today.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't. I'll go see it, but I hope they don't.
I don't think, it didn't seem like they set it up for a sequel.
I don't think so either.
And I agree that, and I believe we were talking about this before the movie, I thought it was at least going to end with all the dinosaurs wiped out and you were going to have a couple of eggs, crack. So, and then, you would have that. I figured it would end with the crack in the shell or something like that. And it would leave the audience going, but no.
That's all right. That's okay.
It's fine.
I think that I agree with you. The next one, they're going to call it something different.
Yeah.
They should have really called it
20 years and.
Yeah.
And if, it's a big if, but if anyone's still alive from the original Jurassic Park trilogy,
they could create a whole new universe.
They could create a whole new universe.
They've done it with Batman 8 times.
Well, Elon Musk is trying to get to Mars, so like I said, Jurassic Universe.
Yeah.
We're going to be sending raptors to
Mars, yeah. Mars raptors.
Anyway, so that was a 3 out of both of us.
Yep,
3. What did all of you think about this movie? Did you go out and see it opening weekend? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? Come on. It's, just jot down below. Were we just being pompous airheads that just didn't like the movie? Or what do you think? So let us know down in the comments below. Smash the like button. However many times you want to smash that. Subscribe, notification bell, and in the description, I will link Chaser's channel again because he has a YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and plug that while you're here.
Yeah. I've got a YouTube channel. It's YouTube.com/BassaceChase, BASSACECHASE. And I release on Saturdays, and I tell pretty short, spooky stories.
So, check him out. If you like scary stories, he's telling a series right now.
It's called Greenfield Lane. Yep, it's a true story about a family that moved into a haunted property they bought a little too cheap in the early 90s.
So definitely check that out. Check out his channel. Again, I will link it in the description below. And Chase, thank you for stopping by and joining me again. And
thanks for having me.
Oh, yes. And as always, thank y'all for stopping by. Always be good to one another, and we will see you next time. There you go.